The storm raged outside St. Michael's Cathedral, rain pelting against the stained glass windows as thunder roared. Inside, the faint glow of flickering candles illuminated Bishop Thando's study. Piles of documents cluttered his desk, each one heavier than the last. Records of abductions, anonymous letters, and evidence of corrupt dealings within the Zubandan government. His phone buzzed violently, the screen displaying a blocked number. Hesitating, he answered in a low voice. "Hello?" The voice on the other end trembled. "Bishop, they know what you've been doing. You're in danger. They're coming for you tonight." Before he could respond, the line went dead. Thando pulled back the heavy curtain and peered outside. A black SUV idled in the rain, its headlights piercing through the darkness. His grip tightened on an envelope marked "Confidential Evidence." He muttered to himself, "If I stay silent, I betray my flock. If I speak, I risk everything. But the truth must be told." The story rewinds 3 months. Bishop Thando had discovered evidence implicating President Malanga's regime in a series of abductions targeting activists and journalists. Using state-controlled media, the government dismissed these disappearances as unrelated incidents, fostering a culture of fear and misinformation. Thando struggled with his conscience. While he preached about justice and truth, his fear of retaliation kept him from acting. His sermons grew increasingly bold, but stopped short of outright accusations. Behind the scenes, he collaborated with activists, documenting the government's crimes. One Sunday, a young whistleblower named Ao arrived at the church, seeking sanctuary. She carried damning evidence, contracts revealing secret deals between the government and foreign mercenaries to suppress dissent. Thando promised to protect her, but his hesitation to act left her vulnerable. One fateful night, Io was abducted from the church's sanctuary. The brazenness of the act sent shockwaves through the community. Thando's flock began to question his resolve, and rumors spread of a traitor within his inner circle. The story takes a shocking turn when Thando uncovers the truth. One of his fellow bishops, lured by bribes and threats, had been feeding information to the regime. The betrayal cut deeply, shaking Thando's faith not only in his allies, but in his own judgment. Driven by guilt and anger, Thando decided to risk everything. He used his Sunday sermon to reveal the government's crimes, live-streaming the message to millions. A nation cannot stand on lies, fear, and oppression. The time for silence is over. Thando's sermon became a rallying cry. Protests erupted across Zubanda, uniting citizens from all walks of life. Activists, students, and even members of the clergy joined the movement, demanding justice for the disappeared. The regime struck back with violence, but the tide had turned. Whistleblowers released evidence online exposing President Malanga's corruption. The international community imposed sanctions, forcing the regime into retreat. As the movement grew, Thando faced one final test. He received an anonymous message threatening his life if he continued speaking out. Instead of retreating, he used his platform to deliver his most powerful sermon yet. The truth is light. It will always find its way through the cracks, no matter how much you try to bury it in darkness. But we, as citizens, must decide whether to live as prisoners of fear or warriors of justice. His words galvanized the nation, and the protests swelled to an unstoppable force. President Malanga resigned, and a transitional government began rebuilding Zubanda's institutions. Months later, Thando sat in his study, now filled with visitors seeking guidance. He reflected on the journey and the lives lost. In a voice-over, he admitted, "When I first uncovered the truth, I hesitated. Fear silenced me. In the months I waited, at least 30 more abductions occurred, 30 families left to grieve, 30 lives that might have been saved. My silence was a choice, and it cost others dearly. The screen fades to images of missing persons posters, their faces a reminder of the stakes of inaction. Thando addressed his congregation one last time. Let this be our lesson. Silence is a chain we must break together. Every time we choose to speak, we prevent another name from becoming a statistic. It's never too late to fight for the truth, but the sooner we act, the fewer lives are lost to fear and apathy.